I didn't go back and pay attention to the details. I didn't go back to make sure the route was clear. I didn't go back to see what kind of security was available. I got the notice that they were both dead. And I go, start recollecting, wow, now what? What did I do wrong? I normally say it's hard to measure success because it's an individual belief on where you're at in life. So when somebody asks you, how do you feel to be successful? Sometimes I say, I'm not there, I'm still refining it to get to that goal. Only you can make it where you can't do it. And if you don't step forward, you'll never move forward. Started with you, there's nothing you can't do. And then as I kind of started with really talking about Brian Kent as a consultant or a mentor, as a successful businessman, I changed the Kent out for Kent. And it caught. People liked it, I liked it, and there we go. Well, I grew up in North Florida on a family farm. Growing up on a farm really makes you think about life, because in a lot of ways, you get tasks that maybe you don't have the tools for. It gives you that tenacity and that self-discipline to stay focused on the task at hand and look for ways to complete it. I had no college education. I was at best an average student, but my common sense and the knowledge I had from growing up in that lifestyle, I think gave me a little bit of a heads up over people that had not been used to that. I got my first shotgun when I was 10. It's a Remington 870 12 gauge pump. My family didn't hold me back from learning. In other words, they empowered me to go do. Somebody new comes on, you just start giving them tasks and you empower them to make the decision to be successful. So it's a leadership style that really resonates in corporate America, or it really resonates in business, because people want to do the right thing. So one of my mentors in life that empowered me greatly was General Garrison, but he was all about empowering his people to be successful. One of his policies was, in all cases, use your best judgment, because he held you accountable to the way you could define the decision you made. And to me, that was very thought-provoking and very, it was ingrained in the way I started thinking when I worked for him. Well, one of the things I coach all the time is lack of a decision is a decision, only you've delegated it to somebody else to make. So in this case, General Garrison, as an example, allowed us to grow. He allowed us to make decisions. He allowed us to fail, right? So it's, some people say fail is not a word, it's an acronym, right? First attempt in learning. Your people can feel empowered because they know you've got their back. And if your people don't feel like you as the leader have their back, it's going to hold the whole organization back. And you can't take on a world problem or a geopolitical problem or even a drastic, let's bring it closer. If say you got a hockey stick company or you got a massive growth coming, the people need to know how to move, and you can't be the single point of failure. Sometimes we get so busy in life, we don't pay attention to the details. Heard somebody recently tell me, let's show up 2 minutes early, so every minute's precious, right? And life is full of those kind of details. And if you're a leader with a mission that's got to happen or a job that's got to be done, you've got to pay attention to the details, because it's the little things that'll kill the task or kill the job or kill the mission. The opponent is not a competitor to steal your IP. The opponent is a competitor to kill you. And the first time that happened to me, I had told 2 of my soldiers, I don't remember exactly the task, but I told them to get in their vehicle and go down to another location. I didn't go back and pay attention to the details. I didn't go back to make sure the route was clear. I didn't go back to see what kind of security was available. And so it was probably a little less than an hour, hour and a half, and I got the notice that they were both dead. And I go, you start recollecting, wow, Now what? What did I do wrong? Because the first question that anybody's going to ask is, what did the leader do to make sure that didn't happen? And then the powerful part is now you got to think about, okay, what are we going to tell their parents? Which can be a very tough thing. And it builds your character. It builds your tenacity. It builds your attention to detail and focus. So how does networking fit into life? I think as you look at your network, your social and your professional network, it is an extension of you as a leader. It's an extension of you as a business person. A good friend of mine, Dr. Stringham, wrote an article, did a research study, probably 20 years ago, where he documented the average social drinker at that time made $15,000 a year more than a non-drinker. Now, we all joked that it took him 3 years to go out drinking every night to figure out how to make money. But what he documented in that study was when you get out of the setting where it's emails and phone calls and just paperwork, and you learn each other and you talk to each other, you share ideas for growth. You share ideas on opportunities. You share deals that maybe you can do together, or you share information where there's an opening for somebody to maybe make a sale or to get promoted. And that network, which I call relationship management, is huge, and as you know in my consulting piece, that's how companies grow. That's how people grow, is through networking, through relationships. And the stronger your relationships are and the more of them you have, the more successful you can be. And that's the same way with companies. The more people companies have, the more networks they have, the more opportunities they find for growth. I look at tenacity as the actual action. So we've talked about knowledge, we talked about empowerment, we've talked about networking. You can have all of that, but if you don't have the self-discipline and the tenacity, it's just information between your two ears. Have a fierce tenacity to be successful, and don't be embarrassed about being successful. Because in 5 years, if you follow that methodology compared to your peer that maybe got the same education, one, you'll have a more fulfilling life, and you'll be wealthier, and you'll be successful in what you've went to achieve. As I reflect about there's nothing you can't do, it is definitely my life. And people that work with me probably would tell you that that is exactly Brian. So when you look at the tenacity and you look at the decision making and you look at not slowing down, your competitors don't slow down. They don't stop. Now that doesn't mean you can't take a pause and reflect and say, is what I'm doing working? If it's not working, you can do a quick assessment and figure out how to keep going. But the goal in life is to continue to make yourself better, to make your business better, and to make those people around you better. I think as I look at nothing you can't do or nothing you can't do, people talk about a work-life balance, and they talk about life. There's no such thing as a work-life balance. You're going to throw your attention into the things that you desire to do.
When I think of there's nothing we can't do, I think of the American Revolution. The British outnumbered us. They were the best military in the world. We knew they were larger and stronger. But the advantage we had was we knew the terrain. We knew the ground. And the leadership of the country had empowered the colonists, empowered the militias to where they could build this interwoven network, to network and learn each other and be a team and be a strength, and use the tenacity of the American dream for the battle. So as I think about the American Revolution, it's that tenacity that has led us to our entrepreneurship, our heart of being a winner, and a heart of being number one. And that's why I say there's nothing you can't do.